Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie, and this channel is chronicling my journey of living my best life with multiple chronic health conditions. Today I'm going to extrapolate on something I mentioned in the previous video, which was me not wearing my oxygen. So this kind of started months ago when I basically stopped wearing the oxygen when I go downstairs because it is really annoying having to deal with the tubing, as I am already rolling over it in this chair. So this purple tubing is 50 feet long. It is connected to my concentrator that is on my first floor, and with it being set up there, it can reach all the way upstairs into all the rooms here, as well as down into the basement when I need to do laundry. So it's really the ideal spot. But when I'm carrying stuff, it's just a lot to handle. It gets stuck on things like underneath the refrigerator. It gets stuck underneath, well, before I moved furniture around after the living room had to be redone because of the tub fiasco, it would get stuck like under the couch, and then I'd have to set things down and go get it stuck, and it was just annoying. So I stopped wearing it going downstairs, and that's normally not a big deal. I get back upstairs, I put it back on, I catch my breath, everything's fine. A couple months ago, maybe by this point, I don't really know, but the electricity flickered, and when the electricity went out, the oxygen concentrator turned off. And I did not go right downstairs to turn it back on because I was working, and I knew I could go a little while without wearing it and be fine, so that's what I did. Turned it back on a couple hours later. I was just starting to get a headache, so it was definitely time to turn it back on, and I was fine. But since then, I have been sort of experimenting on the weekends with not wearing it for a little bit of time just to see how I do. And for the most part, I do okay. But like I just said, I will start getting symptomatic after a little bit. And depending on what I'm doing, it depends on how long I can be without it without being symptomatic. Before, I know I could only be off of it for like a very short period of time before I would get noticeably more short of breath. My coloring would sort of drain, I would get a headache, I would get really tired and everything like that. And I can definitely go longer now if I'm not doing anything. So a couple weekends ago, when I cleaned the bathroom, after getting the tub installed and everything, I was not wearing the oxygen. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. It obviously was not. And what was more not a good idea was even after I started getting really short of breath, getting the headache, I did not put the oxygen back on. Normally when I do housework, I do not wear this oxygen. I will put on my portable concentrator that I use when I travel, because trying to do things like mop and stuff when you have tubing all over the floor just doesn't really work. So I normally put on my portable one, wear it on my backpack, no big deal. For whatever reason, I did not stop cleaning the bathroom, and by the time I finished, I had a rather bad headache and was really tired and like sort of off balance and just sort of out of it. Put the oxygen back on, and it took hours for my headache to go away. When I went to bed that night, I still had a headache, and that's unusual. Normally, when I get the headache, because I'm not wearing the oxygen, it normally goes away within 30 minutes to an hour, tops. So I knew I had done a not good thing by leaving it off for that long, and I have not taken it off for that long again. I think that was last weekend. Time runs together. I really have no idea. But the only time I have had it off since is when I go downstairs, and even then, sometimes I have been wearing it simply because it was no fun the next day when I completely crashed. And that is basically the state I lived in for 18 months before I started wearing oxygen 24/7. Constant headache, could not get it to go away, sleeping all the time, really off balance, just clumsy, running into things. And that's just sort of how I was living. One of my friends lives at elevation at like 5,000 feet, and she said that sounds like altitude sickness. Haven't really looked into it that much, but from the little bit I did look into, it like lines up pretty well, down to the fact that like they say supplemental oxygen for altitude sickness normally gets rid of the symptoms in like 30 minutes, which is normally what happens when I put the oxygen back on. Within 30 minutes to an hour, I'm much better. So I find that really interesting. But yeah, obviously I do not want to be on oxygen. I don't want to be connected to this tubing. I just want to go out and do what I want to do when I want to do it and not have to worry about, do I have batteries, and all of that. So I do attempt every now and then to take it off for a while and see how it goes, but it does not go well if I'm doing anything remotely active. Even just doing stuff at the computer, after a couple hours, I start getting a headache and my coloring changes and all of that. So definitely not there yet. I do keep trying. I probably won't do any big experiments like that again for a while, because that was no fun on Sunday. Nor was the headache fun on Saturday, for that matter. But just wanted to put that out there. I know I mentioned not wearing the oxygen, and that's what I do. I still normally don't wear it when I go downstairs, and simply because I'm going downstairs, I'm probably going to be carrying something upstairs, and it's just really hard to deal with the tubing and carrying stuff. I am clumsy enough as it is. I do not need to be tripping and falling over tubing. But that's going to be it for this video. I believe this is going to be going up on the 15th. The 19th, I will do another sort of life update talking about the concert. The 4th of July bus boat tour, that was an adventure, let me tell you. And then if I end up going to the powerlifting meet, I will talk about that also. And then the 22nd, I will have the last medical update before leaving for Cleveland Clinic on the 23rd. So that is what is going on for the rest of the month. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.